KUAW95LPFM@gmail.com. All right, please excuse whatever background noise you're hearing. I'm currently still broadcasting at home because our site is still being worked on right now. So hopefully soon you'll see me back in the studio, back home instead of in home doing my broadcast. So if you hear any noise outside, more than likely it's my neighbor with his lawnmower. So earlier, I mentioned several social media outlets where you can actually check out KUAW. The good thing about social media is that social media puts things in your hand to where information and news and other pieces of information is more accessible to your convenience. At the push of a button, you can see latest trends, news, drama, gossip, what someone's doing, whatever. Now, the good thing about social media is it keeps you plugged in. However, sometimes being plugged in too long can have its effects. Now, right now, I'm currently going through a self-imposed break on social media. It's like my second time doing this. First time I got off social media for about close to 10 years. I didn't touch Facebook for that long. And I really didn't miss anything. And I got back on to promote the book that I was writing and also my radio broadcast I was doing with KUAW. But then I noticed I started kind of getting back into the same rut of social media. So every now and then, it's okay to take a break. I mean, breaks are normal. People take breaks from work. People take breaks from stress, relationships, jobs. So, as a matter of fact, in some nations' cultures, it's mandated to take breaks throughout the day. I lived over in Spain. The whole town shut down for about 2 or 3 hours, or siesta time. I enjoyed that. I said, you mean to tell me that I can go home and take a nap and hang out and come back to work, still get paid? They're like, yeah. I said, I need to move over here. So, we're saying that I'm going to discuss, why it's important to take a break from social media every now and again. And I would say the nail in the coffin for me was when I saw two individuals. Really, it was one talking about another one. Two individuals in our community who call themselves leaders were going back and forth beefing over something very minute. Well, it was minute to me, but personally, I feel that if I got a problem with someone, I'm not going to air it on social media. And the things that I heard come out of this man's mouth about the other gentleman and his wife, it really rubbed me the wrong way. And then what was further hurtful is when I saw people who were chiming in and encouraging the behavior. I don't like seeing that, especially if you're claiming to be a leader in the community. So we're saying that I'm going to go through and just kind of talk about a few things in regards to why we may need a break in regards to social media. I mean, have you ever actually just sat and thought and said, hey, look, I need to take a break from my phone, but you find it really difficult to resist the urge to constantly check social media? Well, that's what I'm talking about. Because around the world, about 3.96 billion people use social media. As a matter of fact, they said that the population of people who are on Facebook is about the same population of people on the continent. So Facebook in itself is its own continent. That's crazy. So you have all these people who use social media, and they spend an average of 144 minutes on it per day. 144 minutes, a lot of time. Now, because social networking sites are known to lure people in, keep them addicted, no, the key word is addicted, it's imperative to learn how to take a break from social media. You got to. Because I mean, I sat there and I'm seeing people at dinner tables with their phones doing this. I can't stand that. That just irks the heck out of me when I see people glued to their phones. Especially if you got someone sitting right there next to you. Like on Goodfellas, on that movie. They said Paulie didn't like talking on the phone. Paulie liked talking to people in person. That's me. I like talking to people in person. I don't like all that text and all that social media stuff. Now, I got a few common signs that I found online on insider.com that can give us strategies to take a refreshing social media break. No, the key word is refreshing. Sometimes breaks are very refreshing. Come back refreshed with a new mindset to do things a little bit better than what you've done before. Now, it's very important to take a break from social media because from a health perspective, I mean, social media can be a double-edged sword, right? For example, on one hand, it helps us stay connected to people, to situations, news. They can help us with loneliness. You got a lot of lonely people out there that use social media to help them stay connected to the world. It also helps with social isolation, loneliness, negative, and all that kind of good stuff. Because people don't like being alone. Man was not designed, man and woman was not designed to be alone. On the other hand, social illness is associated with cyberbullying, social comparison, stress, and other phenomena that can be detrimental to your health. I mean, like you're stressed about what someone's saying, or what someone's doing, or people are saying things about you. Or, for example, I had someone admit to me I was stalking you, your social media page. Now, I mean, I'm not claiming to be a celebrity or anything like that. However, I do have my foot in a few things that people might have a little fandom. I mean, with radio broadcasts, with poetry, and with writing, and working with certain foundations. But it's weird when you look up and you see someone in everything that you do. On Facebook, you can click on an event that you're going to, and they say, I think if you click on it, it shows all the people who's going to it also. Well, there was an individual who I was not too safe around. Popped up to a few things that I was doing. As a matter of fact, I was giving a presentation at a friend of mine's event, and the person popped up, and I felt very uncomfortable. My presentation was not what I wanted it to be because I was worried about what the individual was going to do based on them knowing where I was going to be off social media. I mean, they went through and clicked on everything that I liked and everything that I was a part of. And that was a very creepy thing. So we got to assure that social media has a positive impact on our lives, on our health, on our consciousness, because that means when we take a break, we got to direct our attention to other things. Like if I want to take a break from cartoons, I need to put something else in that void. Now, social media is a behavior that is sedentary. All right. Even though we are talking to friends, social media limits our capacity to be face to face. So, we're saying that we tend to spend less time in the real world and more time in this made-up world because everyone's page is slightly different than each other's page. It's like a reflection of who we are. Some people, when you look on social media, they got different names, different identities, so they create their own little person in their own world. Now, social media may cause stress and anxiety and depression behind this because we find ourselves comparing our lives to other people. Like, this person is doing this and this, but I'm not. It can be stressful. And you got to see that reminder every day of what you are not yet because this person is living the life that you want to live. Now, as far as mental health, social media can affect our self-esteem. It can also lead us to compare ourselves to edited photos, like on that TV show Catfish. You have a lot of people who post photos, it's not really them, or it's Photoshop, or it's filtered, and you're competing with something that doesn't even exist. If we're sitting on social media for extended hours, we aren't taking the time to take care of our physical bodies. Enjoy life outside our social media. If you spend so much time on that keyboard, clicking and looking and scrolling and stuff, what are you doing? You're not outside. You're not cleaning your house. You're not with your kids. None of that stuff. Now, these are signs that you need to get off of social media for a little bit. No, I didn't say rule it out. I'm just saying take a break. There are a few signs that may indicate that it's time to take a social media break. First one, it's not fun anymore. Now, I remember I heard a minister say that fun is only temporary, enjoyment is more permanent. Personally, I don't want nothing fun. I like things that are more permanent. Now, social media is not fun. Sites like Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, they're meant to be fun and enjoyable. It's an enjoyable way to connect with family and friends and it's a way to socialize. Now, if you find that it's no longer a source of enjoyment or that connection in your life, then maybe it's time to take a break. If it's not enjoyable for you to connect with your mom or your dad or your relative you haven't seen in a while or a coworker that you like or your little boo thing, if it's not giving you any pleasure, hey, I may not want to do this right now. So you might want to take a little break. Next, you're comparing yourself to others. If you're feeling like you aren't good enough, pretty enough, or successful enough while consuming what's in your news feed, then you should take a break. Now, it's okay to give yourself a self-assessment. However, if you're constantly reminded by what you are not, or what you want to be, but you have yet to achieve, and it's causing you stress to see that all the time, get away from that. And then maybe plug in and see what you got to do to make your, to establish yourself more. Now, with me taking a break, I knew that I was taking, I saw some friends of mine who were writers, okay? And I saw some friends of mine who were entrepreneurs. I saw friends of mine that were go-getters and goal-achievers. And I saw that the more and more I was on social media, this is just me talking, that I was neglecting things I needed to do. So I said, you know what, I'm taking time off of this. I want to get myself together. I want to finally publish my books. Right now, I'm happy to say that I am finishing up 3 books. 3. And by the end of the year, I have 5 books published. So I'm working on 3 by the end of the summer, 5 by the end of the year, which is a huge accomplishment for me. Because if you all know, I released my first book back in 2016. And I said that I wanted to republish it. It took me 4 years. Yeah, 4 or 5 years to get that completed. And I'm like, man, what was I doing that whole time? On social media, chasing other stuff. So I had to focus on me. Now, if you find that you feel worse about yourself after you're on social media, then it's not a resource that is adding to your emotional well-being. I mean, it wasn't adding to my emotional well-being either, because I was just literally just caught up in everyone else's world. And I was neglecting everything that was important here. I mean, when I got off of it, I saw a definite increase in my stress level decreasing. All right. Next, you're doom scrolling. This is a good one. Doom scrolling occurs when you find yourself mindlessly and continuously scrolling through social media sites. You may doom scroll because you feel the need to constantly know everything that's happening in the world. Now, when this pandemic first popped off, everything you saw was about pandemic, about lockdowns, about vaccinations, about shots. Everyone's opinions about this stuff. When Donald Trump was going through his, second impeachment, everything was Trump. When Donald Trump and Joe Biden were going at it in an election, everything's about that. When you are obsessed with things like that, that's all you are accustomed to. As a friend of mine, well, he's really an associate. He was on social media talking about every trending topic, right? And like, for example, when it came to the mask issue, when it came to politics, he was using the information that he got off of that. He was using that to affect his friendships with other people, whether it be conscious or unconscious. I'm not going to lose a friend over someone's opinion. I was always told that opinions are just that. It's just opinions. Some of them are fact-based, some of them are just based on just air. And when I'm seeing people argue about things like that, because they're so obsessed with what the news is giving them, that's an issue, because that's the only thing that you're talking about. So everything on your page, everything that you say is about this one thing that you see on the media. And that right there is a sign that you might want to take a pause for the cause and go chill out for a little bit, because life is not all about that one issue. Now, people may not even realize that. Sometimes, it's a little experiment. If you're on social media right now, I want you to go through and look on your particular page and see some of the stuff that you post. It's all connected to the same thing. Maybe want to take a break. Or if you find yourself, if you look in your search history, and if you're only searching for one particular type of thing, then you're probably a victim of doom scrolling. Because sometimes we don't realize it until a huge lapse of time has passed, and we're still sitting in the same position on our phone or our computer. Now, think about that. If I said earlier that we'll spend about 144 minutes on social media, and you spend that 144 minutes on something that's negative or something that's like draining your emotional state of health, look at what that's doing. You're investing time in your own demise. Next one. I remember when I was dating a while ago, I told a young lady I wanted her to be the first thing I saw waking up and the last thing I saw going to bed. I had her picture by my bed, sentimental. However, now the last thing I like to see when I go to bed is me tucking in my child. See what maturity does for you. Now, some people, the last thing they see is social media. Last thing. So looking at your phone before bed may disrupt your sleep because your mind is acting awake. Now, I was always wondering why my mom was always tripping out, because I would say, I'm going to go to bed at a certain time. I would lay down, I reach over and grab my phone, and I'd be scrolling on Facebook, and 2 hours later, I'm like, wow, like 2 in the morning. Why am I still up? On Facebook, scrolling. Now, the blue light from your cell phone suppresses melatonin, if you haven't known that yet. Melatonin is a hormone that's responsible for you to have controlled sleep. Now, my doctor told me that people should not do things in their bed besides sleeping. Of course, besides sleeping. Now, we're saying that if you are watching TV or on your phone, like I tell my students, you stand at that device, it's going to keep you up because it's going to make your mind think that it's still daylight outside. That blue light is simulating that daylight reaction, and guess what? That melatonin is being suppressed. Now, because that artificial color does imitate daylight, your body will think it's daytime and to keep you energized, thus resisting the urge to wind down your need for sleep. Now, the way the Creator made our bodies is such a blessing, because we are geared to be up during the day. That sunlight hits us, we're energized. If you're staring at your phone late at night, that's the last thing you see, your sleep's gonna be messed up. That's how it is. It's like if you got the TV on and you're watching that TV in your bed. Your brain, when you lay down at night, you're gonna trick yourself and say, hey, look, this is what I do. I watch TV here. And then your sleep is messed up. And then also, sometimes, depending on what you're looking at on social media, that might affect your dreams too. Or it might get you so hyped up because you're thinking about it, or you arguing about something, or you discuss a topic, you're just too riled up sleep. And you at work, nodding, or you're still thinking about that. You're allowing that to rent space in your mind. And next, it transitions from a nice-to-have activity to a need-to-have activity. Nice to have to need to have. Now, this is helpful as a rule of thumb. Take a break. If you're occasionally using it to stay connected or otherwise enhance your life, then that's a nice to have, occasionally. But if you're using it as an unhealthy way to cope with underlying anxiety or feeling yourself becoming stressed if you haven't checked in a while, those may be signs you need a break. Like people say, I haven't been here for a while, I know y'all miss me. And we ain't worried about all that. You do you. It's a computer program. You fine? If someone's not logged in for a while, it's safe to assume that something more important is pressing. You got people always checking in and telling you that every move on social media. I'm here eating dinner. I'm hanging out with such. I'm watching this. I'm doing this. I'm going here. I'm going there. That's an issue. I mean, you really got to get footprints everywhere you go on social media. It cracks me up when people say, they're upset with someone being somewhere, but they're letting you know on social media where they are. Or when people put their personal phone number on social media and say, hey, man, call me such and such. I mean, you don't know everybody else on the page. When people just willy-nilly communicate with you one-on-one as if you're really one-on-one, but really you're not one-on-one, everyone's watching it, that's an issue. Because you have an identity association. I mean, right now, it may seem like I'm talking to you one-on-one, but there are other people listening and watching too. So I can't say something personal, just me and you, on this module. It's not gonna work. Now, there's some things that are pretty common through a lot of us, all right, me included. So once you notice the problem, the question is, how do I take a break from social media? How? Well, even if you recognize that you should take a break from social media to improve your health, it can be difficult to do. Remember, easier said than done. For many, scrolling through social media, it can be an addictive stimulant, very addictive. It will take some time and some real willpower to break the habit. Now, if you want to effectively take a break, you have to be intentional about it. I mean, it can help if you pull a friend or a family member and help keep you accountable. I mean, if it needs to be there like that. But I don't know, man. Sometimes I just put cold turkey too. I did. And also, some social media sites like Facebook, they tell you, hey, you want to log back on in about a week or so. It'll give you time to log back in. So maybe try it like that. Try 7 days. See how that works. Try a day. Just scroll it. Adjust it to how you want to make it happen. Now, here's some ways that can help you get yourself together as far as taking a break from social media. First thing is, there's notifications that pop up on your phone. If someone likes something, sends you a message or whatever, or reacts, comments, you'll get a notification on your phone. All right? Ding, such and such said this. Ding, such and such sent you a friend request. Ding, she likes this. Ding, she loves this. Ding, he's in a relationship. All right, all that stuff. And if you really think about how many notifications you get within an hour off Facebook alone. A lot. When you get a notification like a like or a comment or a post, it results in positive social stimulus and a dopamine influx. So it's like a drug use. It's like you get high off of all the likes or all the comments. I wrote a poem called False God in regards to people getting likes and comments, getting high for that, was compared to a false god and worshipers. It's like you're like the god of your own little world, and you're trying to get all these likes and comments, like worshipers from your followers. Your followers like worshipers. And like the more followers you get, the more worship you get, the more praise you get, the more powerful you become. That's why you got these people walking around like they're social media icons. Because people like their stuff. That's a very, very dangerous game to play. Now, it's addictive. Power is addictive. People thinking that they can be close to God in that sense of power is addictive. Because man has always been trying to be God since his inception. And that's a problem. And now we utilize social media to do it. I mean, you know what I say, man? Better watch being a false god. All you gotta do is take away the false god's worshipers, and you see how much of a man and woman they truly are. Now, the constant beeping and buzzing that we get from these notifications are more than likely a way for you to check your phone. Ding, ooh, I'm looking. Ding, I'm looking. Ding, I'm looking. But turning off those notifications will probably help you resist always being on social media. Because sometimes, well, for the most part, we check those notifications in order to see who said what about what we're doing. Like people, I know someone that posts pictures, and she posts like, I mean, some of the pictures are okay, but it's just like her smiling, or sometimes she might throw on something nice, and it's okay just to show off how good you look. But if you're doing that for gratification or for what's the word? Validation from other people, that's a problem. Why do you need all this validation? I mean, if you can't look in the mirror and say I'm beautiful, but you need 100 people to like and love what you got on, that's called self-esteem issue. Like Cat Williams said, it's called self-esteem, baby, for a reason, self. So if you are fascinated or drawn in by these things and notifications, you may want to find something else to do. Turn those notifications off. Now, also, you got to prioritize self-care. It's another step. It can be easy. It can be especially helpful to replace your social media use with other mood-boosting activities. It don't require your phone. When you get the urge to check your phone and start scrolling, try some of these healthy alternatives instead. Set up a time to go hang out with someone in person. Go for a walk, a hike, ride a bike. Cook your favorite meal. Journal for 15 minutes. Play a video game. Go outside. Like I tell my kids, go outside. Pick up a basketball. Or do some housework. Spend time with your kids, or your spouse, or significant other. Or take a nap. Or go do some self-care things. Think about that. All the time that you put on social media, if you took that and put on things that need your attention more, like your devotion, your worship, for your religious practices, or your meditations, you'd probably be a more grounded person spiritually. Now, earlier I made a comment about taking time to take a break. You can also allot your time to use social media. See, some people recommend that identifying what content leaves you feeling better and which makes you feel worse. Then you can create plans to limit the things that make you feel bad. So, filtering out the negative things and also bringing in the more positive things. It's placing limits on how much you use based on what the tipping point is from the enjoyable or anxiety, some of your negative feelings. So get rid of the negative stuff. If you got negative people on your friends list, get rid of them. This person is saying some racially inappropriate stuff or some sexist things or some really just asinine bull. Just get rid of them. The tipping point is going to be different for everybody. What do you want to see? And also, say, look, I'm going to spend 10 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day, 30 minutes. Put your phone across the room at night so that you can't scroll before bed. Now, I'm not saying turn your phone off, because you might get an important phone call. It might be someone calling saying, hey, I got $1 million for you. So keep your phone on, but put it on the other side of the room. See, me, I sleep my phone on the other side of the room because I get easily annoyed when that phone vibrates. Like I don't like hearing my phone ring. I can't stand hearing a phone ring. It just annoys me. So now I'm at the point now I don't like hearing my phone vibrate. So I put it on the other side of the room. I can't turn it off. I have kids and all that. So what I do is I just leave it across the room, and if it's pressing, I go and get it. But this can help avoid the urge to start scrolling if you can't fall asleep. Chances are it will also allow you to get better sleep, which can improve your health and combat other negative side effects of excessive social media use, such as loneliness and depression. Now, I was always under the impression that if you can't sleep, I was told, get up and just start doing something. Like other than getting on your phone. Like get up and walk around. You'll fall asleep eventually. Use social media related apps. You can actually have an app on your iPhone that can track screen time. I know my screen time is tracked on my phone. And it sometimes sets limits for certain social media platforms. So you can actually get an app that can limit your time for a particular platform on social media. So it pretty much cuts you off. I mean, that's cool if you need something like that. So maybe you might want to invest in going to your App Store or iPhone App Store, Google Play App Store, and see what's going on. Maybe you can find an app that can help you out. I know on my iPhone it shows you the percentage of what you're using each week, and that's very helpful too. I'm like, wow, I spent this much time on Facebook. Well, that's not good. So kind of keep that in mind when you are focused on social media, because there's nothing wrong with taking a break every now and then. And really, there's nothing wrong with having social media. I think it's cool. However, it can be overwhelming. I mean, when I'm seeing families all on their phones or kids getting neglected or things being not taken care of in the household, or dreams being deferred because you're so focused on other stuff, or stress, or people being bullied. It's time to take a break. I mean, like, we can't control what social media puts out there. We can't. However, we can control our usage and what we see. Now, keep that in mind. You may not be able to control social media, but the thing you can control is yourself. And if you're lucky, if you got kids that got social media, you control what they see too. But I mean, keep that in mind, though. I mean, think about what you can do with the time that's wasted on social media for negative reasons. Overall, what I did was I gave you several strategies that you can use to take a break from social media. Okay? Putting too much time on our phones is very, very detrimental, and it can contribute to low self-esteem, can also contribute to loneliness and depression. Putting down your phone may help alleviate some of these feelings. I didn't say cure, it may help alleviate some, because some of it is involved with that social media aspect. It's healthy to take a break from social media to give time for emotional well-being. It's good for us to break up our day with mental and emotional breaks to regroup and center ourselves, especially around things that are important. Now, earlier I made a comment about allowing certain things to rent space in your mind. You don't want to have things in your mind that take away time from what's important. You know, it's not good to have things control you. And people can use social media to really control folks. Like, for example, the individual that I talked about earlier in regards to the leader, the Black leader in our community that was saying inappropriate things about someone else. This individual has a group of people that a friend of mine said they're not really friends, they're minions. And when you got people that are really stirring the pot and encouraging negative behavior and stuff, that leaks over. It's a corrosive melting pot that when that stuff hits, it stains, and you don't want that negativity on your feed, in your mind. You don't always want to be thinking about what this person's going to do next. Now, also, you have people that have these false personas and false images. I mean, it's okay to have a fantasy world. It's fine. But when your fantasy world is affecting other people, then that's a negative reality they have to live in. You know, you have people that aren't themselves on social media. Now, I know people say what you see on social media is not me in real life. I get that. However, if your made-up persona, if your fictitious persona is causing real-life problems for somebody else, that's an issue. You and that person need to take a break, not just on social media, but from each other as well, too. You see a lot of dangerous things on it. Like my sister, she coined a phrase called thumb thugging. I don't know if she invented it, but I got it from her, so I'm giving her credit for it. You got a lot of thumb thugs out there. And thumb thugs are people who talk real tough and real hard on social media, but they can't come at you. Kind of like a keyboard assassin. They say all kind of stuff to you on social media, but don't have the gall to come tell you to your face. You got a lot of that going on too, and that's stressful also. You got people threatening you and people doing things to you that's inappropriate. Now, I'm going to say one thing that happened to me, and I don't mind saying this. Now, we all know that I teach also, and I have a radio broadcast as well, too. And sometimes I may propose topics to discuss. Well, I had someone actually cut and paste one of my topics that I have for discussion and send that to my supervisor at the time. And one of the vice principals were asking, hey, what's up with this? And a friend of mine said, you know, Tyrone got a radio show. This is an educational question. People ask him about topics to discuss on the show. He puts it out there for us to debate and discuss. This is about a show. And really, it was real. What was the word? It was real simple. It was schools need to hire administrators, not administrators. And that was a topic that someone had, and we all kicked around. So you got people that do stuff like that, or you got people that take your pictures and do nefarious things to them. Or if I got one. I knew several people who were low. They were asking for prayer, or they were discussing discriminatory tactic that you place against them. You got people copying and pasting that and sharing it with people, trying to get them in more trouble. I mean, it's messed up when someone's asking for prayer and then you take that and try to use it to get them in deeper water than what they're really in. So, I mean, you got people that use social media for negative means, and I've been a victim of that several times. And there's nothing that you can avoid. I mean, you can like reduce your chances of it. However, it's gonna happen eventually, whether you know it or not. If you got people that feel like it's their job to report on everything you post. You know, I had a real close cousin like that. Everyone's telling her mama what she's putting on Facebook. She's grown. You know, leave her alone. You know, I mean, her mama don't want to hear all that. She's not talking about damaging herself for those kids. Leave it alone. So what if she's talking about this, that, and other? You have a choice. Either you can look or not. And if you got a question, call the person. See, we don't do that anymore. We don't call and contact the person. We don't go see the person. We always speculate based on what we see on social media. And that's unhealthy. So one thing that I'm noticing is that the more and more we dig into social media, the more and more we separate ourselves from each other. And that distance is very unhealthy. And where you have division, you have means for destruction. Because the more and more divisive we are towards one another, we can't unite. That's why you see people arguing about some of the dumbest stuff. So what if you want to wear a mask and I choose not to? That's my choice. That's your choice. I still love you. So what if I get a vaccination and you feel like you don't need to? That's your business. That's mine. See, we're arguing about the wrong stuff. And while we're arguing about who should wear a mask, who should get a vaccination, you got people storming the Capitol trying to overthrow the government. Think about that. You got people changing laws to discriminate people. You got people killing folk in the street, making it legal, while you're arguing about some of the most minute things. So imagine that people utilize social media for more comprehensive things. Now, no, some people do, but for the vast majority, I see too much arguing over the most pettiest stuff. And while we're arguing about that stuff, you still got people like Breonna Taylor who still has not received justice. Donald Trump is still destroying this country by having a major influence on the Republican ticket. Oh yeah, do your research. You still have Flint, Michigan, not clean water. You got another variant of the coronavirus coming up. You have kids being forced to go in unsafe situations. I just got an email today from a school. Since July 4th, there was 13 cases of COVID-19 in a school. Since July 4th. July 4th was 2 weeks ago. We're arguing about silly stuff. We're worried about who's twerking this, who's singing this song. So while we're arguing and stressing over stuff we shouldn't, you got all this huge stuff going on right in front of your face and you're not seeing it. So I strongly suggest that we take a break and reflect on what's more important. And once we establish that, maybe we can, utilize this gift of social media in a more beneficial means. That's something to think about. Now, of course, I'm not arguing whether or not you should have social media. That's your prerogative. What I'm arguing about is you taking care of self. You can't be sociable if self is not taken care of first. Tyrone Gethers Jr., and you have been watching The Source of Inkwell live on KUAW. And it's like ink, we overflow. Let that education stay permanent. See y'all next week.